Hello. About a week ago, you saw a video that started off a lot like this. I was standing in front of this board. There were 4 graphs, and I acted out some motions. That's what I'm going to do in this video as well. However, there's a big difference. I know you can't see that well from the phone video, but the slide before this showed you these 4 graphs. They're not position graphs, they're velocity graphs. I've got a V on the top of all of them. So what I asked you to do in the picture right before you watch this video, I asked you to look at the graphs and kind of guess what motion they represent. The 4 graphs are as follows. There's a positive initial velocity, and there's a line with a positive slope. There's a positive initial velocity, there's a line with a negative slope crossing the t-axis. There's a line with a negative initial velocity and a positive slope crossing the t-axis. And then the last one is negative initial velocity, negative slope. So I asked you to predict what the motion would look like. As always, before we can even do that, we have to specify a reference frame. I put my origin right here. I'm calling that way positive. I'm calling that way negative. So one thing you're not seeing on any of these graphs is position. I can start wherever I want. So this says it's a positive initial velocity, and the absolute value, the magnitude of that velocity is increasing. So that's actually a pretty simple graph. I start going in the positive direction, and I speed up. How about this one? Positive initial velocity, but a negative slope. And what does that intercept mean? What does it mean to cross the axis? Well, it means my velocities will be positive, but they'll be decreasing. The speed will be slowing down. When I cross the axis, the speed will be 0. So that means I stop. And then as they trend to larger absolute values in the negative direction, that means I go backwards. So something like this. This one will be the opposite. So I would start with a negative velocity. That speed would decrease to 0. I'd stop, and then I'd go forward. So maybe something like this. And then, of course, collect all 4. The last one would be start negative and have the speed increase. I don't know if I can do that without hurting myself. So anyway, go back, look at the original graphs, see if that motion surprises you, and compare it with the video from a week or so ago, which showed the position graphs of this motion. Thank you.